Has someone you love started showing subtle but concerning changes over the past year? Many people assume that death in old age happens suddenly, perhaps in the form of a heart attack or quick decline in the hospital. But the truth is, the body often sends quiet warnings months, sometimes even a full year, before life reaches its final chapter. The problem is, these signs are usually so small, so easy to overlook, that they slip past unnoticed. Families often brush them off as just aging or a passing phase, not realizing that what they're seeing are early signals of the body winding down. Only in hindsight, when it's too late, do they recognize the clues that were right in front of them. And by then, it's often too late to prepare emotionally, too late to have those meaningful conversations, too late to make those last memories count. That's why it's so important to talk about this. Recognizing these signs early gives you a chance, not to stop what's coming, but to face it with grace. It gives you a chance to make your loved one's final stage of life more comfortable, more dignified, and more filled with peace. One of the earliest signs that a person may be entering the last year of life is unexpected weight loss. It can start so quietly that it seems harmless. Maybe they don't feel like eating a big breakfast anymore. Maybe their clothes start to fit a little looser, or their belts move one notch tighter. It's subtle. You might hear them say, "I just don't have the appetite I used to," or "food doesn't taste like it once did." And it's easy to chalk it up to aging. But when someone begins losing weight without trying, and it continues despite gentle encouragement or supplementing their meals, it's often a sign that something deeper is taking place. As people age, their bodies naturally change. But unintentional weight loss isn't just aging. It often signals that the body is no longer absorbing nutrients as efficiently. The digestive system slows down, muscle mass begins to waste away, and the body system struggles to maintain balance. What's happening is more than physical. It's part of the body's quiet preparation for its final transition. It's not uncommon for older adults nearing the end of life to feel full quickly or to skip meals entirely. Their sense of taste might fade, or food just might not bring joy anymore. The body, sensing it's nearing the end, often stops sending hunger signals to the brain. And it's not only the digestive system that slows. Protein metabolism can also falter, leading to reduced muscle and strength. That doesn't just affect their physical appearance. It affects balance, mobility, immunity. When someone becomes weaker, they're at higher risk of falls, illness, and infections. Even illnesses they may have shrugged off in the past become more dangerous. Sometimes there's an underlying condition causing the weight loss, such as cancer, heart failure, or kidney disease, quietly progressing beneath the surface. Other times it's emotional. Depression, grief, or even mild dementia can cause people to stop eating well. So while you might be trying to offer their favorite food, shakes, or treats, the truth is that when someone's body is in decline, no amount of calories can truly reverse what's happening. In that moment, the most loving thing you can do is shift the goal from getting stronger to staying comfortable. Gentle encouragement is helpful, but forcing food may do more harm than good. Instead, focus on hydration, soft and easy to digest meals, and comfort above all else. Closely tied to this is another quiet warning sign: extreme fatigue and persistent weakness. This isn't just a nap in the afternoon or feeling tired after a long walk. This is a bone-deep kind of exhaustion that sleep doesn't fix. You may notice your loved one sleeping more than usual, needing more rest during the day, or struggling to stay awake through conversations. What used to be routine, like brushing teeth, changing clothes, or walking the mailbox, becomes overwhelming. They might start staying in bed most of the day, or only get up for meals. And even then, it might be with your help. This kind of fatigue is a signal the body is conserving energy. As organ systems slow down, like the heart and lungs, the body starts to reserve its energy for only the most essential functions. Circulation decreases. Muscles weaken. The metabolism slows. There simply isn't enough fuel to keep everything running as before. This is nature's way of prioritizing. And while it can be hard to watch a once active person grow quiet and still, it's important to understand that they are not being lazy or giving up. Their body is asking for stillness. Their soul may be preparing itself, even if they can't put it into words. This slowing down doesn't just affect their physical energy. It can impact their emotional world too. Many people nearing the end of life begin to withdraw, not because they don't care, but because engaging takes effort. You may notice they stop initiating conversations or lose interest in visitors or hobbies they once enjoyed. This withdrawal can be subtle at first, shorter conversations, fewer smiles, but it often grows with time. For many families, the stage is particularly difficult. It's hard to see someone you love go from vibrant to quiet. But know this, just because they aren't saying much doesn't mean they aren't feeling. Even when words become few, your presence, your voice, and your touch still mean the world. Don't push them to snap out of it. Instead, meet them where they are. Sit beside them. Hold their hand. Play soft music. Let the silence speak. In these moments, connection doesn't require words. Then there's the issue of cognitive changes. As the body prepares for its final journey, the brain is not immune to decline. You may begin to notice moments of confusion or forgetfulness in your loved one. They might ask the same question repeatedly, forget names they've known for years, or seem lost in familiar places. Sometimes, they may say things that don't make sense or mix up words and timelines. These signs can be frightening, especially if they appear suddenly. But cognitive decline, even in someone who never had dementia, is often a part of the dying process. As the body systems slow, blood flow to the brain decreases. This affects memory, clarity, and even emotions. One moment, they may seem like their old self, laughing, chatting. Then the next, they may look distant, confused, or agitated. Some people may even have brief periods of lucidity, where they seem completely themselves again. These moments are a gift. Treasure them, but also prepare yourself for the back and forth. Cognitive fading is rarely linear. It comes in waves. Emotional withdrawal deepens at this stage too. The person may become less reactive, less engaged with the world around them. They may sit quietly for long stretches, eyes distant, as if already on a different plane. This isn't always depression. Sometimes it's the mind easing its grip on the physical world. It's part of the natural process of letting go. For those watching, it can feel like grieving a little every day. But what you can offer now is presence. Be near. Speak gently. Tell them you're there, even if they don't respond. They may not always remember your name or the day of the week, but they will feel your love. Love, in the end, is what remains. As time passes, you may begin to see even more noticeable shifts, not just in behavior or mood, but in the body's ability to fight off illness. One of the most subtle yet significant signs that someone might be in their final year of life is an increased vulnerability to infections. Where once a simple cold would pass in a few days, now it lingers. A minor bladder infection might suddenly turn into a hospital visit. Pneumonia, a condition many recover from, becomes life-threatening. This isn't just bad luck, it's a signal. The immune system, like every other part of the body, weakens with age, but in the final stretch of life, it often becomes barely able to defend at all. Recurrent infections are more than just nuisances. They're clues that the body is slowly losing its ability to repair and protect. Sometimes, these infections return repeatedly within a short time. Urinary tract infections, chest infections, or skin sores become part of a revolving cycle. Caregivers often find themselves in and out of clinics or ERs, confused about why the same issues keep coming back. What's really happening is that the body's defense lines are lowering, making it easier for common bacteria or viruses to take hold, and harder for the body to bounce back. Recovery becomes slower, more fragile, and less complete each time. These recurring illnesses can also bring unexpected side effects, sudden confusion, extreme fatigue, even falls. Older adults don't always show the same symptoms younger people do. A fever might not appear. Instead, their first sign of infection might be a change in mood, an inability to focus, or simply saying, "I just don't feel right." This is especially true when infections like UTIs or pneumonia strike. Family members often mistake these changes for signs of dementia or medication side effects. But often, it's the infection quietly wearing them down. Each illness takes a little more from them: time, strength, memory, confidence. Over time, their world becomes smaller. They stop doing the things that once brought them joy, not because they've lost interest, but because their body simply doesn't have a reserve anymore. When you notice a pattern, illness followed by weakness, then a slow or incomplete recovery, it's not just about treating symptoms anymore. It's time to ask a deeper question. Is this their body gently saying it's nearing the end? The body also begins to reflect its decline in appearance, even beyond weight loss. The skin becomes thinner, more fragile. Bruises appear easily, even from small bumps. Wounds take longer to heal. There may be a grayish or pale tone to the skin or a kind of dullness in the eyes. The body, once full of color and energy, now appears more muted, more delicate. Hands may grow colder, the circulation weaker. Fingernails might change, becoming more brittle or developing lines. Feet swell. Ankles puff up. You might notice your loved one pulling on socks more frequently or avoiding tight shoes. These aren't random. They're signs that the heart isn't pumping as effectively, that the kidneys may not be filtering as efficiently, that the body's systems are slowly tiring out. And even if doctors can't find a single disease to name, the accumulation of these little changes often signals what they call frailty, a quiet stage where the body is simply nearing its natural limit. Mobility also starts to change. Walking, once natural and automatic, begins to feel like a chore. Steps become smaller, slower. Balance becomes shaky. Getting out of bed or a chair may now require assistance. Some people begin to fall more often. Even if those falls aren't serious, they're often warning signs, red flags that the connection between the brain, muscles, and nerves is weakening. Sometimes a person can't explain why they fell. I just tripped, they might say, but deep down, something is shifting. Their coordination, their depth perception, their overall strength is fading. And along with this comes a quiet fear. They may begin avoiding stairs or long walks, not out of laziness, but out of instinct. Their body is asking for caution. Their world becomes smaller again, first the bedroom, then the living room, and eventually just the bed. Movement becomes limited not just by physical weakness, but by emotional fatigue. They're tired, not just sleepy, but life-tired. And then comes perhaps the most profound change of all, one that's harder to define but impossible to ignore. A sense of spiritual readiness begins to take shape. For some, this looks like reflecting on their past, speaking of long-gone friends or relatives, or talking about going home, even when they're already in their own house. They may mention seeing people who aren't there, often parents, siblings, or even pets who passed away long ago. These aren't hallucinations in the typical sense. They're often calm, peaceful experiences that feel comforting to the person. It's as if a veil is thinning. The person begins to turn inward, looking not at the calendar or the clock, but at the arc of their own life. Regrets may surface. So might forgiveness, gratitude, or quiet longing for rest. Conversations may grow shorter, but more meaningful. They might say, "Thank you" more often, or quietly mention how tired they are, not just physically, but ready in a way that doesn't need explanation. This emotional shift is one of the clearest, yet most overlooked signs of life approaching its final season. Family members often feel torn during this time, unsure whether to encourage their loved one to keep fighting or simply sit beside them and listen. The truth is, there's no perfect script. No one wants to give up hope, but sometimes hope looks different. Hope can mean comfort, not cure. It can mean dignity, not endurance. Sometimes the most compassionate thing we can do is simply walk beside them, not trying to fix, not urging them to eat or push through, but just being present. When someone starts talking about death or what might come after, try not to shut them down. Let them speak. Listen. These are not morbid thoughts. They are deeply human reflections. They are signs that the person is doing the inner work of letting go. And while it can be heartbreaking to watch this unfold, there's also something sacred about it, something tender. These are the final pages of their life story, and you have the chance to be part of that chapter in the most meaningful way. Sit close. Ask them questions. Remind them of their value. Share laughter, even if it's gentle. Play their favorite songs. Talk to them as if every word matters, because it does. Even if they no longer respond, know that your presence is felt. The heart remembers love long after the mind forgets. Sometimes, the quietest signs are the most powerful. As someone nears the end of life, relationships take on a new meaning, especially the emotional distance or closeness they feel toward others. A person who used to be socially active may begin to withdraw, even from those they love the most. This withdrawal isn't always because of pain or fatigue, though those play a role. It's something deeper, a kind of internal turning away from the noise of the outside world, as if their spirit is already stepping into a different room. Phone calls go unanswered. Visitors are gently declined. Conversations grow shorter or more reflective. It's not that they don't love their family and friends anymore. Often, the love is stronger than ever, but they no longer feel the same pull to stay connected in the way they once did. Some describe it as feeling full, like they've already said everything they needed to say. Others simply feel quiet, as if their energy is being used for something invisible, inward, and important. For those around them, this can be confusing, even painful. A spouse might wonder if they've done something wrong. Children may feel rejected or shut out, but what's often happening is part of a natural emotional transition, one that gently moves a person away from the living world toward a place of deeper peace. It's not uncommon for people nearing the end of life to begin tying emotional threads together. They might suddenly bring up past events that haven't been mentioned in years, old hurts, unspoken regrets, unresolved questions. They may ask for forgiveness or offer it. Sometimes they bring up things you didn't even know they remembered. These aren't random. They're signs that the person is taking emotional inventory, looking back over the life they've lived with a kind of quiet urgency. And if you lean in and listen, even when it's hard, you may hear some of the most honest and vulnerable words you'll ever receive. There are also subtle patterns of behavior that often appear in these final months. Some people seem to enter a burst of clarity or energy, often called a rally. After days or even weeks of decline, they suddenly seem more awake, more alert. They might eat a full meal, speak clearly, or request something specific, like visiting a certain place or hearing a favorite song. Families often feel a spark of hope in these moments, thinking perhaps the worst is over. But more often than not, this rally is a brief, beautiful pause before the final stage begins. It's as if the body, mind, and soul are offering one last gift of connection, one more chance to share love and laughter before saying goodbye. These moments can feel surreal, bittersweet in their timing. If you're present for one, don't question it. Embrace it. Lean into it. These last bright days, or even hours, are not false. They're sacred. Appetite, too, often fades completely. In the final weeks of life, many people stop eating and drinking almost entirely. This is not starvation. It's part of the body's natural process of shutting down. The systems that once processed food no longer function in the same way. The sensation of hunger disappears. The mouth may become dry, but the desire for solid food vanishes. Families often struggle with this the most, begging loved ones to just eat something. But feeding a body that is letting go can actually cause more discomfort. Instead, focus on comfort. Moisten the lips, offer iced chips or gentle sips of water, hold their hand. Understand that this is not giving up. It is the body taking its own path home. Sleep takes over more and more time. A person nearing the end may spend almost all their time in bed, eyes closed, breathing softly. They may not respond when spoken to, but even in this deep rest, hearing often remains. Speak gently, speak kindly. The words you say still matter. Sometimes, people wait for a certain voice, a child to call, a spouse to arrive, before they take their final breath. Other times, they seem to wait until they're alone. Some people hold on until they're sure their loved ones will be okay. Others pass quietly in the night, as if not to disturb anyone. No two goodbyes are exactly alike, but almost always there's a moment when transition begins in earnest. Breathing becomes shallower, the pauses between breaths grow longer, and there's a sense of soft attachment, like a tide slowly pulling back from the shore. During this time, you may notice their hands become cooler, their feet turn purple or mottled, their skin grow pale. The breath may become raspy or labored. These are physical signs that the body is doing what it knows how to do, letting go, with or without permission. It can be terrifying to witness, but it can also be grounding, even beautiful. This is not failure. This is not defeat. It is the natural conclusion of a life lived, a journey finished. And if you are there, even if you don't say a word, your presence becomes a gift, a bridge between this world and whatever comes next. It's natural to grieve even before death happens. Anticipatory grief, they call it. That deep ache that comes from knowing what's ahead, from sensing the loss before it fully arrives. You may feel helpless or angry or overwhelmingly sad. You may feel guilty for things you did or didn't do. Let yourself feel it. This, too, is part of the path. And when the moment does come, when their final breath leaves the room, everything may feel still, empty, but also sacred. That stillness is not the end. It is the moment after the candle has gone out, but the warmth still lingers in the air. What follows will be your own process of healing. You'll carry pieces of them. Words they said, things they taught you, quiet moments that never left you, and perhaps the most powerful legacy of all. The reminder that life is short, but it's meant to be deeply lived. Every goodbye holds a lesson. Every ending holds a whisper of what mattered most. Be gentle with yourself in the days after. Speak their name. Share their stories. Let yourself weep and let yourself laugh when memories come. Grief is the price of love, but it is also its mirror. It means they mattered. It means they were deeply, fully here. So if you are noticing these quiet signs in someone you love, changes in their body, their behavior, their soul, know that you are witnessing something profound. It's okay to feel afraid. It's okay to not know what to do. But also know this: your presence matters more than your words. Your quiet support, your loving attention, your willingness to just be there, that is enough. More than enough. And if you are the one feeling these signs in yourself, speak your truth. Say what you need to say. Love where you need to love. Make peace where you can. Because the end is not just a closing. It is a soft return to something greater, something beyond, something unknowable but not unloving.